The AI you're using for free right now, the one in the chat window you didn't pay a cent for, was roughly a year ago the best artificial intelligence money could buy. People paid real money for it. Companies paid a lot of money for it. And then on something suspiciously close to a schedule, it was marked down to zero. And the new best in the world took its place behind the paywall, waiting its turn. In March of 2023, using the Frontier model cost about $30 for every million words it read. Today, that same level of capability reportedly costs less than a few dimes, and the chat versions are simply free. The most expensive product ever built keeps becoming free, over and over, faster than any technology in history has ever dropped in price. Nobody voted on this. No regulator ordered it. And the interesting question isn't how, it's why. Because when the most expensive thing humans have ever built keeps getting marked down to nothing, someone is paying for that. And there's a very good chance it's eventually going to be you. First, establish that this is actually strange, because we've all stopped noticing it. When GPT-4 launched in early 2023, it cost about $30 per million tokens, the industry's unit for words going in. A million tokens is roughly 10 novels worth of text, so picture paying $30 to have 10 novels read. 3 years later, capability at that level runs well under $1, and by some counts under a dime. 10 novels read carefully, for less than the price of a gumball. Analysts who track this put the fall at roughly 10 times cheaper every single year, around 300 times in 3 years. For calibration, Moore's Law, the famous one, the law that built the modern world, doubled computing power about every 2 years. Bandwidth during the dot-com build-out got cheap fast enough to bankrupt the companies that laid the cable. The price of machine intelligence is falling faster than either of them ever did. This is, as far as anyone can measure, the fastest price collapse in the history of technology. And it isn't just the wholesale price. Watch the free tiers. Features that debuted behind a $20 subscription have a habit of appearing in the free version months later. Usage caps quietly disappear. The model that was the Frontier last year gets handed to free users like a hand-me-down that happens to still be the smartest artifact our species has produced. Yesterday's Frontier is today's free tier isn't a slogan. As far as anyone can tell, it's a schedule. Half of this collapse has an honest, boring explanation. Engineering. Chips get better every generation. Researchers learn to distill giant models into smaller ones. A big model teaches a small model, the way a professor writes a textbook, and the student ends up doing most of what the professor can do at a tenth of the cost. Serving systems squeeze more answers out of every hour of electricity, and the electricity deals themselves keep getting bigger and cheaper per answer. The other honest half is competition, and it's brutal. A few years ago, there was one Frontier lab that mattered. Now there are several within months of each other, and below them, open models you can download and run yourself. And overseas labs that have reportedly undercut the incumbents' prices by 90% just to make a point. The moment one lab cuts prices, the others match it within weeks. Because in a commodity market, the price isn't set by what the product cost you to build, it's set by your hungriest competitor. When several suppliers can produce roughly the same product, that product becomes a commodity, and commodity prices race to the floor. It happened to grain, to steel, to bandwidth. It's happening to intelligence, with one strange twist no commodity has ever had before. This one gets smarter while it gets cheaper. But here's where the honest explanation runs out. Competition explains cheap. Engineering explains cheap. Neither of them explains free, because as we covered in our video about the $640 billion problem, every single answer these systems produce still costs real money in chips and electricity. Cheap has a floor. Free is below it. Free isn't a price. Free is a strategy. Here's the strategy. The prize in AI right now is not your $20 a month. Nobody is spending hundreds of billions of dollars to win $20 a month. The prize is becoming your default, the thing you reach for without deciding to, the way you Google something without choosing a search engine. An AI assistant might be the stickiest default ever invented. It learns your projects, your writing voice, your history. Every month you use one, it gets harder to leave. Not because of a contract, but because it knows you. Ask yourself honestly how you'd feel about reteaching a brand new assistant everything your current one already knows about you and your work. That small wave of exhaustion you just felt? That is the asset. That is what the billions are buying. Whoever owns that relationship owns the next decade of your attention, your workflow data, and eventually a say in what you buy, what you read, and what you believe is true. So the free tier is not a gift. It's an acquisition campaign. Very likely the most expensive customer acquisition campaign in commercial history, funded by investors who are buying market share the way armies buy ground, which makes the mental model uncomfortably simple. This is a land war, and you are the territory. The free AI keeps getting better for the same reason the casino buffet keeps getting better. The food is real, the value is real, but the building was not built to feed you. It was built to get you inside and keep you there when the doors matter. If you want to know how a free war ends, we have the tape. In 1995, the best browser in the world was Netscape Navigator, and it cost about $50. Then Microsoft decided the web was a war worth winning, made Internet Explorer free, and bundled it into Windows. Microsoft was reportedly spending on the order of $100 million a year on a product it handed out for nothing. An absurdity at the time, and a rounding error next to what AI labs now burn in a week. Netscape, the fastest growing software company on earth, was effectively dead within a few years. Free won. Free always wins. But it's the next part people forget. Once Internet Explorer held some 95% of the market, browser progress essentially stopped. For half a decade, the most important application on the planet barely improved, because it no longer had to. The subsidy had done its job. The war was over, and the winner stopped trying until Firefox and later Chrome restarted the race. You've also lived through the modern version. For about a decade, investors paid for a large slice of every cheap rideshare you took. Billions of dollars a year in subsidies to win the territory. Then the market consolidated, the subsidies faded, and prices climbed. Nobody announced the change. The war just ended, and the harvest began. That's the full shape of the pattern every time. Subsidize, dominate, harvest. Free is not a promise. Free is a phase. So what does harvest season look like when it comes to AI? 3 levers, and you can already see hands resting on all of them. Lever 1, segmentation. The walls appear exactly where your usage turns professional. The casual tier stays generous. The moment AI starts making you money, you're invited to a higher price. That one is already standard practice. Lever 2, advertising. An assistant you trust, one that answers in a single confident voice, with no list of 10 blue links, is the most valuable advertising surface ever imagined. The industry has reportedly already begun experimenting with ads around free tiers. However carefully it starts, the gravity is old and familiar. When you are not the customer, someone else's. Lever 3 is the quiet one, throttling. Free keeps its label while the model behind it quietly becomes a cheaper one. Slower, dumber, capped, with the good stuff moved upstairs. The label never changes. The product does. And if you're confident you'd notice, remember that the throttle doesn't announce itself, and free users almost never benchmark. None of this is a conspiracy theory. It's just arithmetic with a delay on it. Those hundreds of billions of dollars in losses are a bridge, and investor bridges always lead to the same place, to you paying with your money, your attention, or your data. The only real question is which toll booth and when. So what do you actually do tonight as the territory? 3 moves. First, eat the buffet deliberately. Yesterday's $200 frontier is today's free tier, which means the rational default is free first. Make the paid tier re-earn its $20 every month against a free option that is usually about 90% as good. Some months it will, many months it won't. Second, keep your exits marked. The entire war is being fought to make leaving unthinkable, which tells you precisely what your ability to leave is worth. Keep your prompts, your files, your workflows somewhere you own, in formats that move. Rule of thumb: love the tool, never marry it. Third, watch one signal. The day your free tier stops getting better, the day the hand-me-downs stop arriving, that's the tell that the war in your corner of the territory is ending and the harvest is starting. That's the moment to look up and compare options, because it means your default has stopped fighting for you. And keep the frame. The collapse itself is the good news. A solo operator today can rent capabilities that would have taken a Fortune 500 budget 3 years ago, mostly for free. Falling intelligence prices are the biggest handout to individuals in the history of software. The collapse is the opportunity. The only trap is the lock-in. The strangest sale in the history of technology is not generosity. It's the most expensive land war ever fought, and the battlefield is your attention. The smartest machine our species has ever built is being handed to you for free because several of the richest companies on Earth are betting they can make it back later. From you. So take the deal. It's genuinely a good one. Just take it with your eyes open and your exits marked, because the terms will change and nobody will send a memo when they do. And if you want the other half of this story, who is actually writing those checks and why the math behind the free buffet loses more money every year it succeeds? The $640 billion problem is on screen right now. That's the supply side of the war you're standing in the middle of. See you in the next one.